What's going on, everybody? It's Rick from Worms with Rick. Today I'm resetting this bin. I'm going to go ahead and quick show you some of my harvest right now. Figured I'd bring you guys along. I've agitated the bin a bunch, this upper tray, and we'll go ahead and pull off most of these castings. I'm going to move it over into my mortar tray for now. I think to make it easier, I'm just going to scoop and store the castings over here, and then I can just scoop it up and pop it into my 7-gallon tote once I have a little pile here. Oh, there's my little piece of popsicle stick. Pretty nice looking worm. Piece of avocado shell. Okay, so I'm going to give this some more time for the worms to kind of crawl back down, and when you come back, this will all be completed. Okay, so here are the castings. There are still just a couple of worms in here, and I'm kind of okay with that for now. I'm going to put these guys in the 7-gallon tote that I hold my castings in, and then I'll put a bait cup in to try to pull some of these guys back out. Having some worms in the castings isn't a bad thing, because then they can continue to work this and keep the microbial life high until you're ready to use them. And I have my avocado shells, a couple other pieces, and then the worms that were still in the castings. I just threw the handful right on top, and I'll bring you back in another couple days when it's Worm Wednesday, and I'll go ahead and give this guy a nice big feeding. And now I'm going to go ahead and get the tray ready to be put back on the bottom. So first thing I need to do is remove these corners, and these are going to go onto the new tray with just the bedding. Just so you guys know, the risers are not necessary. I like them because it doesn't compact the castings as much, but you don't need to put these in. So I'm just going to move the bedding to the side on the corner, drop and push that down to the bottom, and then this tray will be all ready to go. Wow, look at all the castings down here. So I'm going to take this and add this to the top feeding tray. Definitely seen that one worm, so I'm just grabbing him and throwing him up top. Looks like there's another worm right here. With this plate, there's these little grooves. The tray has to line up and be inside of those grooves, and then it's kind of secured. So I'm going to go ahead, look through this. I doubt that there's any food scraps left from this last feeding, and then I do have an interesting feeding for this bin. Okay. Yep, so like I figured, no food scraps left. Some fresh bedding still. I'm going to add a bunch of fresh bedding to really increase how much material is in this top feeding tray. Plus I get to use the bedding to help clean off my hand. Okay, so that's great. I got some strawberries that were frozen from my brother. I got some previously frozen banana. I got a piece of corn on the cob for him. And I had this cucumber. The first couple actually kind of grow wonky, and we got a ton of rain. So you see how tiny this end is and how wide this end is. This may not be coming through, but this started turning yellow, and yellow means that it's trying to produce viable seed. So, of course I can't puncture it, but I can with this knife. So, don't cut myself. Yes, so typically once the cucumber starts to turn yellow, it's trying to produce viable seed, and also the flavor, it's going to be more bitter. So I don't want to kind of eat that one, so I stuck it in the freezer, giving them a nice big treat. To the feeding like I normally do, I'm going to add some grit, which is ground up eggshell. This is going to help to buffer the pH. So if the bin is starting to get a little too acidic, this will help bring it back towards neutral. And once the worms process the grit, this will make it more bioavailable when I add the castings into the garden. So I'm gonna cover the food with castings. Typically, I don't have any problems with flying insects or anything like that when the food has been frozen and then thaws out and then goes into the bin, and then I cover it with the castings. Let me know if you guys have any problems with pests getting into the worm bin, like fruit flies, fungus gnats, things like that. To the top, I'm going to add a little worm chow. This is just expired oats, flour, cornmeal, and a little pulverized eggshell. And now this bin has been reset. The lower level has the bedding, the middle level is now the inoculating tray, and this is the top feeding tray. I run this VermiHut with 3 trays. If you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them down in the comments. And this bin should be good for another 2 weeks or so. Thanks for coming along, checking out the video. Everybody have a great day.